If you do at-home band workouts, there's a pretty good chance that you probably don't know if you're improving or not. You might do one exercise for 30 seconds, change bands, change positions, finish with your arms burning, but not actually knowing if you're making progress. It feels like a workout. You might even be exhausted. But did you actually improve? Did you use more resistance? Did you do more reps? Did you get stronger? Or are you just better at that one particular circuit? Bands can work. The problem is that most at-home band workouts make progress almost impossible to measure, so let's fix that. Resistance bands are cheap, easy to use, and you can store them pretty much anywhere. So I'm not gonna tell you that you shouldn't use them, and you can definitely get results using resistance bands. The problem is that if I pick up a 25-pound dumbbell today, it's still 25 pounds next week. But with a resistance band, this is not the same as this, it's not the same as this. The band is fine. The problem is that there's no fixed reference point. Unless you're paying attention, with this resistance band, I can make it easier or harder depending on things I might not even be thinking about. Watch this simple example. If I'm standing here with my feet together and I just step on it, some slack in it, and I start pulling, maybe I'll do 5 reps here, and that's great. But if I did 4 last week and 5 this week, did I really get stronger? Or did I just have my feet closer together? Did I have more slack in the band? Could be the same band, same exercise, but that means that writing down black band 4 minutes is not enough to actually track your progress. Before you worry about finding the perfect band exercise, make sure you understand how to set it up so that it's repeatable. Use the same band, but also put your feet in the same place, put your hands in the same place. You might even just put a little mark of Sharpie on here to know where you were grabbing it, or put a piece of tape on the floor to know where your feet were. If you're using an anchor too, that anchor height, that anchor distance, where you lock it in the door, all of that could change the resistance of that exercise. You just need to keep in mind making it repeatable week to week. Take this band skull crusher, for example. I can make it easier or harder by changing how much band I start with in my hands. You can get a Sharpie and mark it, or what I like to do, count how many hand turns in I go. So I just start with some slack, 1 turn, 2 turns, that's where I am. Doesn't need to look fancy, just needs to be repeatable. Now my reps can actually tell me something. When I put it in the same spot on my back, I use the same grip, and then I do the same exercise. The next problem I see all the time is the timer. Especially for at-home workouts, it's very popular to use a timer to make that the sense of difficulty. But unless your goal is conditioning that particular circuit or just endurance, you're not gonna build muscle just because you're on a timer. If you're extremely new, you can make some gains just by doing things, but 40 seconds of work doesn't actually tell you how much useful work you did. One person might perform 8 challenging, controlled reps in 40 seconds. Another person might just be doing 25 half reps, kind of just going through the motions as quickly as they can because they think that's gonna be better results. That doesn't make the sets equal. If your goal is building muscle, the work needs to count. You can't just go through the motions and work up a sweat. It could mean 15 controlled reps with a smaller band. It could mean 10 reps with a thicker band, but especially with bands at home, you need to make sure you know exactly what you're doing so that you can progress from workout to workout. The timer can control your rest periods if you want, keep the workout short, but it cannot be the only thing measuring your workout. Which brings me to my next point. The follow-along workouts that you see on YouTube or the ones that get popular usually are designed just to be interesting, not necessarily be effective. They change it up, they keep it moving, so you feel like you're doing something, but that doesn't actually mean that it's effective, especially if you're doing the same YouTube workout day to day. That's why they constantly introduce new exercises. They have to keep putting out new exercise videos or compilations. And don't get me wrong, if you're tracking things, those workouts can be good, but doing new exercises all the time, especially with bands, is a great way to confuse yourself and not track any progress. For clicks and for videos, it makes sense. For your progress, it doesn't really. If you perform a different curl variation each week with a different band or different setup, you never spend enough time with one version to know if you're improving. It's honestly the same principles as any other weightlifting or progressive overload. But when it comes to bands and at-home workouts, you have to be very diligent. Just keep a small group of movements long enough to actually make progress. You can do the same YouTube video day to day, week to week, but measure which bands you're using for it, where you're holding it, and make sure that you can make it more difficult for yourself every time you come back to it. For a basic full body routine, that might be some sort of hinge, a squat, some sort of row, a press, and 2 smaller exercises for whatever you want to emphasize. The exercises can change based on your space, the equipment you have, what you actually want to work on, but the important thing is that you keep it consistent long enough to make progress and understand that you're moving in the right direction. 1 is the exercise. 2 which band did you use? 3, the exact setup, and 4, the reps and sets that you actually do. For my skull crusher, I might write down band skull crusher, black band, 2 hand twists, that means something to me, and the exact position I put it on my back. Then what I actually did, so maybe 3 sets of 10 to 20 controlled reps, and I'll actually write down the reps that I did. That's just a target example. The important part is choosing a repeatable target that you can track week to week. Let's say I perform this exercise, and I get 17 reps, then 14 reps, then 12 reps. Next time I recreate this exact setup and try to improve one of those numbers without changing the execution. So maybe I do it again, and this time I get 18, 15, 14, which honestly, if I'm pushing close to failure, that would be a very drastic improvement. But for sake of example, let's say that's what I did. Once I reach the top end of the range of the exercise I'm doing, so let's say that's 20, maybe I'll use an extra band at the same time. Maybe I try to hold more of the band in my hand to make it tighter. Then I record the new setup, and I'll start tracking again until I get to the top of that rep range and need to add more weight. The real key is just changing one thing at a time. If you're going to change the band, change the exercise, change your grip, change the time, all of it, you are just losing the chance to compare whether you're making progress. The sets also need to be challenging enough for your body to actually adapt or be stimulated to grow. But that doesn't mean you have to take every set to complete failure. Every workout doesn't need to end with you trapped under the resistance bands glued to your floor. But if you finish your set early and you could have done another 5 reps, that set probably wasn't very demanding, and you probably should have been using more resistance. For anything muscle building, you want to make sure that you're pushing close enough to failure. It doesn't have to be absolute failure, but they have to be difficult sets. The exact number doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to find a set that you can perform and compare against, again, with adequate difficulty. Don't get me wrong, bands still have limitations. The jump between one band and another can be pretty huge. Some motions can be awkward, some things can feel difficult to load muscles the way that you want to load them, and the way the resistance changes throughout the motion is very unique. Depending on your goals, dumbbells, cables, all the standard gym equipment, it definitely makes progress easier, but you can do a lot with the bands. The main thing is you need to treat them as training equipment that you can use to measure progress from week to week, and not just a prop in the latest follow-along YouTube video that the algorithm fed you. Because of that, you also need to inspect your bands, make sure there's no cracking, make sure that they're not fraying or that they're falling apart, and that the attachment you're using, if you're using an attachment, is secure. The last thing you want, trust me, is one of these bad boys to snap under full tension and catch you a little bit off guard for a memorable lesson that you won't soon forget. For your next band workout, pick one handful of exercises that you're comfortable with. Use the same band, use the same setup, record your reps, then try to improve that next week. Just pick some exercises that you like, that you are willing to repeat week to week, and measure the progress. That burn can tell you if you're working, but the logbook, or keeping track of your progress, tells you if you're actually going anywhere with that work, instead of just spinning your wheels. If you want me to build a complete home band workout routine using these sorts of concepts, then just comment band workout below. And if I get enough of them, then I'll just build that band program myself, so that way you guys can have it. Anyways, that's it for now. Ta-ta.